I've spent a lot of time thinking about this idea of a fixed destiny. And I get it. It can feel like a comfort, right? Takes the pressure off. No need to worry about the wrong turn, the missed opportunity, because somehow, someway, it was all supposed to happen just like this. But then, if that's true, if the final chapter is already written, why does something in here taps his chest still lean forward? Why does it still look at a star and make a promise? Why do we, in our quietest moments, still wish? Let me tell you something. I believe destiny is real, but I don't believe it's a prison. It's not a tiny windowless room you're locked inside. No, think of destiny as a map. A grand, sprawling, beautiful map of a whole country. This map, it shows everything. The mountains you're meant to climb. The rivers you're meant to cross. It shows the cities of success and the quiet valleys of peace. It even shows the dead ends and the deserts. The struggles that will test you. This map is your potential. Your terrain. It's all there, written. Now, if I hand you this map, what's the first thing you do? You don't just stare at it. You don't just accept that you're somewhere on the paper. No, you point. You find a mountain peak that catches your eye and you say, I want to go there. You see a coastline that calls to you and you whisper, I wish to stand on that shore. That act of pointing, that whisper, that is your wish. Your wish is the compass. See, a map is passive, lays there with all its possibilities. But a compass is active, it's alive in your hand. It quivers and points, giving you direction. It tells you which way is your north. Without a compass, a map is just a picture. You're lost in a field of possibilities with no way to choose. But without a map, a compass just spins. It has ambition, but no context, no terrain to navigate. So you see, they need each other. Your destiny. That map gives you the scope of your life. It says, these are the borders of your existence. These are the kinds of challenges you can handle. This is the strength you possess. But your wish, that compass, is what gets you walking. It's what makes you choose the path through the forest instead of the path along the river. Both lead to the same ocean, maybe, but the person who walks through the forest arrives different than the one who walked by the river. They have different stories to tell. Let me break it down a little more. That map, your destiny, it might have a big X, a spot called great success. Okay, fantastic. But how do you get there? Do you take the straight, narrow, difficult highway of discipline, or do you take the longer, winding, scenic route of exploration and discovery? The map doesn't care. The X is still the X. Your wish to be successful, that burning desire, is what makes you pick up the compass and start moving. It's the energy. It's the fuel. And what about when you're on the road? The map might show a storm coming. That's destiny. The challenge was written. But your wish to be safe, to protect your family, to see this journey through, that wish is what makes you find shelter. It's what makes you build a fire. It's what makes you huddle with your loved ones and tell stories to pass the time, strengthening your bonds in a way fair weather never could. The storm was on the map, but your wish is what wrote the story of how you survived it. Some of you are sitting there thinking, but what if my compass is broken? What if I wish for a mountain that's not on my map? Let me tell you, a wish is never wrong. Sometimes you point your compass at a mountain that's just too far, or on Somerman's map, and you walk, and you never quite get there. You think you've failed. You think your compass lied to you. But look down. Look at your boots. See how worn they are. Look at your legs, how strong they've become from the journey. Look at the person beside you, the one you met on the road you never planned to take. That wrong wish, that failed desire, it took you across parts of your map you were always meant to see, but would never visited if you hadn't aimed for that distant, impossible mountain. Your compass didn't lie. It took you on the exact journey you needed. So when you ask me, if destiny is written, why should I make wishes? I'll tell you this, a wish is not a rebellion against destiny. It is a collaboration with it. It is you leaning over the map of your life, planting your finger on a point of light and saying, I choose to go here. I choose to experience this part of my story. The destination was always there, but the journey, the beautiful, painful, glorious journey, belongs to the wisher. The map is given, the compass is your choice. So point it. So we've got this map and we've got our compass. We're on the move. But I want you to think about this for a second. Think about your life not as a trip, but as a story, a book. Now, if destiny is written, does that mean you're just a reader? Just turning the pages, your eyes moving across sentences that were typed out for you long before you were born? A passive passenger in a tale you can't change. I don't believe that. I can't believe that. Let me offer you a different way to see it. You are not just the reader, you are the co-author. Yes, the big stuff, maybe that's already on the page. The setting, where and when you were born, the major plot points, the loves that will find you, the great challenges that will rise up to meet you. Maybe the genre of your story is already set. Is it a drama, a comedy, a tragedy, an adventure? That might be out of your hands. But let me tell you what isn't. The dialogue, the character, the heart of the story. That's all you. The publisher, the universe, God, fate, whatever you want to call it, they handed you the premise. They gave you the chapter titles. But you are the one who fills the pages with your words. Think about it. The plot point says, Chapter 10, a great loss. It's there, in ink. You can't tear the page out. But how does your character respond? Do you write pages of bitterness and despair? Or do you write a quiet scene of remembrance that gives others strength? Do you let the loss harden you? Or do you write a narrative of resilience, of a love so profound that even death can't silence its echo? The event was given. The meaning, you author that. The plot point says, Chapter 25, a moment of triumph. It's on the map. But what does it sound like? Is it a boastful, arrogant victory? Or is it a humble, grateful one, where your character turns and helps the person behind them? Do you write a scene that ends with your character alone on the podium, or one that ends with a crowded room of people you lifted up with you? Destiny wrote the moment. You write the morality of it. This is where your wishes come in. Your wishes are the first draft of your dialogue, that deep, burning desire to be a better parent. That's you drafting the lines of patience and understanding you'll speak to your child tomorrow. That wish for a more meaningful career. That's you scribbling in the margins, outlining a new subplot where your character finds purpose in service. That simple, quiet wish for a more peaceful heart. That is you, the author, choosing to change the very tone of the narrative from one of anxiety to one of grace. You see, when you wish, you are not begging the universe to rewrite the book. You are deciding how you will write the next paragraph. You are asserting your creative power over the only thing you truly can control, your character's voice. Now, some folks will say, but if I'm just a co-author, the other author is so much more powerful. Why does my pen matter? It matters because the story is meant to be a collaboration. What kind of story would it be if the main character had no agency? If they just moved from one preordained event to the next with no internal life, no struggle, no growth? That's not a story. That's a checklist. That's a report. And you, my friends, were born to be part of an epic, not a footnote. Your wishes, your efforts, your stubborn, beautiful insistence on hoping, that is the proof that you have a pen in your hand. The fact that you want things to be better, that you dream of being kinder, stronger, more loving, that is the ink flowing. The universe provides the plot, but you provide the poetry. It provides the conflict, but you provide the courage. It provides the stage, but you provide the soul. So when you feel that urge, that little whisper in your heart saying, I wish for this, don't shut it down. Don't tell yourself it's already written so it doesn't matter. Lean into it. That whisper is not a distraction from the story. It is the sound of your pen hitting the paper. It is the sound of you claiming your authorship. The broad outline was given to you. But the man or woman you become between those lines, the words you speak, the love you give, the strength you find in the dark, that is your masterpiece to write. So pick up your pen. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, all right, co-author, I like that, I've got my pen. But sometimes the page is blank. Sometimes the path isn't clear. I make a wish, I put it out there, and nothing seems to happen. The map is foggy. The compass just spins. So what good was the wish then? That's a real feeling. I've been there. Staring at the ceiling in the middle of the night. A wish so heavy in my heart it feels like it's going to pull me right through the mattress. And the silence is the loudest thing you've ever heard. But I want you to understand something crucial about a wish. It is not a passive prayer. It is not just throwing a coin in a fountain and walking away. A wish, a real wish, is an act of focus. It is the deliberate, powerful act of turning on a flashlight in a dark room. Let me explain. Before you made that wish, what was your reality? It was everything. It was the noise of your job, the worry about your family, the bills on the counter, the traffic on the freeway. Your attention was scattered across 100 different things. Your perception was wide, but it was shallow. You were seeing everything, and therefore seeing nothing. Then you make a wish. I wish I could find a career that feels meaningful. Or, I wish I could meet someone who truly understands me. Or, I wish I could conquer this fear that's holding me back. Click. You just turned on the flashlight. Suddenly, you're not illuminating the whole room anymore. You're focusing that beam, and what happens? You start to see things you never noticed in the dark. That article about a new company, it was always in the room, but now your beam of meaningful career lands on it and you actually read it. That quiet person in your community class, they were always there, but now your beam of someone who understands rests on them and you strike up a conversation. That book on courage, it was buried on your shelf, but now your beam finds it and you pull it out. Your wish didn't create the article, the person, or the book. Destiny, the map, had already placed them in your path. They were always there. Your wish didn't change the room. It changed your vision. It activated your inner agency to notice what was already meant for you. It makes you a magnet for your own destiny. The universe is full of signals, of opportunities, of little synchronicities waiting to connect. But they're like radio waves floating in the air. You can't hear the music and wish you turned the dial to the right station. Your wish is you turning the dial. It tunes your receiver to the frequency of your own possibilities. And this isn't just mystical thinking. This is practical. This is about the energy you carry. When you carry a sincere wish in your heart, it changes you. It changes your posture. It puts a light in your eyes. When someone asks you, "What's new?" instead of the usual, "Oh, nothing much," you might actually say, "You know, I've been thinking about trying," and you put your wish out into the world. And the person you're talking to might just say, "Really? I know someone you should talk to." That's not a coincidence. That's your focused energy meeting the opportunities that were already on your map. You became visible to your own blessings because you finally raised a flag and said, "I'm here and I'm looking for this." Before the wish, you were just drifting. You were a ship in vast ocean of potential, but with no port in mind. Every wind was the wrong wind. The wish is what gives you a destination. And once you have a destination, suddenly the currents that were working against you seem to shift. They were always there, but now you can use them. You can set your sails to catch them. So when you feel that wish forming in your heart, don't dismiss it as a fantasy. Don't bury it because you're afraid it won't come true. Recognize it for what it is, the most powerful tool of perception you possess. It is you taking active control over what you see, what you notice, and what you attract from the grand design of your life. Stop waiting for a sign. Your wish is the sign you send out. Now, all this talk of maps and authors and flashlights, it's leading us to a bigger question, a grander stage. If this destiny of ours is part of some immense, universal design, a cosmic pattern, then what is our tiny little wish in the face of that? Does it even matter? Isn't it like a single drop of water trying to change the course of the whole ocean? I want you to think about it differently. Think of this grand design not as a static painting, but as a living, breathing, intelligent network, a cosmic internet. Billions of souls, countless possibilities, all connected by threads and energy, purpose and time. It's vast. It's complex beyond anything we can truly imagine. And your life, your destiny, is a unique, vital node in that network. It holds data. It holds a purpose. It has a place. But here's the thing about a network: for it to work, there has to be communication. There has to be a signal. You sitting there with a quiet hope in your heart that is you preparing to send a signal. When you look up at the stars and whisper a dream, You are not just talking to yourself. You are typing a query into the universe's search bar. You are entering your terms. Search for purpose. Search for love. Search for strength to get through this. You hit enter. That wish is the signal. It's the packet of data you send out onto the cosmic web that says, "This is what I am seeking. This is the frequency I am listening on." Now, before you sent that signal, what was the universe to you? It was silent. It was a library with every book locked away. It was a network with infinite information, but you hadn't logged on. You were offline. You thought nothing was happening because you weren't receiving anything. But the truth is you weren't transmitting. The moment you send that wish, the moment you truly, deeply feel it and put that intentional energy out there, you log on, you connect, you announce your presence to the parts of the design that are meant for you. You make your node visible. Think about a satellite phone in the middle of the desert. It has access to every other satellite phone on the planet. But if you never dial a number, you'll never hear a voice. Your wish is you dialing the number. It's the connection request. The person on the other end. The opportunity. The person you need to meet, the solution to your problem. They were always there. Their number was in the directory. But the ringtone never starts until you make the call. This is why passive hope isn't enough. Hoping something will happen is like owning a phone and just staring at it, waiting for it to ring. But making a wish, that's picking up the receiver and dialing. It's an active, intentional act of participation in the grand design. You see, destiny isn't just something that happens to you, it's also something that responds to you. The design is intelligent, it's interactive, but it operates on a fundamental rule you have to ask. You have to initiate the handshake. The universe is waiting for your signal. It's respecting your free will so deeply that it will often hold back the very answers you seek until you are ready to form the question. Your wish is that question. It's the proof that you are ready to receive the answer. It's you telling the cosmos, "My node is active. I am open for business." Send the data packets labeled fulfillment. Send the connections labeled guidance. I am now tuned in to receive. So when you feel that urge, that deep, soul-level desire to put a wish out into the world, don't hold it back because the design seems too big and you seem too small. That wish is your access code. It's your login. It's your personal key to the parts of the universe that have your name on them. The grand design has the answers. But you have to be the one to ask the question. So we send our signal. We log on to the grand network. We start walking the path our compass has pointed to. And then life happens. The road gets steep, the wind bites cold, and we look up at that mountain peak we wished for, and it seems further away than ever. Maybe a storm rolls in and blocks the view entirely. And in those moments, a dangerous question can creep in. What if I never get there? What if my wish doesn't come true? I want to talk to you about that. I want to talk about what happens in the space between the wish and the destination. We are so fixated on the end, on the trophy, on the peak, on the moment we get the thing we wished for. We think that's the point, the fulfillment, the arrival. But I'm here to tell you, you've got it backwards. The treasure is not the chest at the end of the map. The treasure is the calluses on your hands from digging. It's not the summit. It's the strength in your legs that you built on the climb. The destination is just a dot on a page. The journey is what writes your story. Let me say that again. The journey is the destination. Every wish you make sets you on a road. And that road, with every single step, is sculpting you. It is sanding down your rough edges. It is forging a resilience in your spirit that you didn't know you possessed. When you wish for patience, the universe doesn't just drop a bag of patience in your lap. It gives you traffic jams and long lines and difficult people. And in that frustrating, grinding space between your wish and your goal, you have no choice but to practice patience. You earn it. When you wish for courage, destiny doesn't hand you a medal. It puts you in a situation that terrifies you. It puts you in a dark room and forces you to find the light switch yourself. And when you finally find it, your hand is shaking, but you found it. You didn't just receive courage, you became courageous. See, an unfulfilled wish is not a failure. It is an active workshop. It is the universe's most effective training ground. That relationship you wished for that didn't work out. It wasn't a waste of a wish. It was a course in what you truly need, in the boundaries you must set, in the love you must first have for yourself. You didn't get the partner, but you got the wisdom. And that wisdom is worth more. You wished for that job, you prepared, you interviewed, and you came in second. It feels like a loss. But look at who you became in the process. You became the person who could articulate their value. You became the person who studied, who prepared, who showed up and looked failure in the eye and didn't break. You didn't get the title, but you got the character, and character is a currency that never devalues. This is the secret they don't tell you. The wish is just the ignition. The real value is in the miles you put on the engine. The person who has everything they ever wished for handed to them is weak. They are untested. Their story is boring. But the person who has struggled, who has faced setbacks, who has had to dig deep for a wish that seemed to be receding into the distance, that person has a light in their eyes. That person has a story that can change lives. That person has become. So when you are on that path and the peak is shrouded in clouds, don't just stare up in despair. Look down. Look at the ground you've already covered. Look at the muscles you've built. Feel the wind on your face and recognize it as the very element that is making you stronger. Your wish set you in motion, and the motion itself is the miracle. The fulfillment of the wish is a moment. The pursuit of it is a transformation. Stop worrying about whether you'll reach the finish line. The truth is, the finish line is an illusion. There's always another mountain, another wish, another destination. The only thing that is real, the only thing that truly lasts, is the person you are while you're on the road. So make the wish. Embrace the struggle. Welcome the detours. Because the path is not just the route to your dream. The path is what makes you the person worthy of it. All right? We've talked about maps and authors, networks and journeys. We've covered a lot of ground, but I want to bring it all home now. I want to leave you with an image. One last thought to tie it all together. Think of your destiny as a river. This river, it has a current, a powerful, undeniable flow. It started somewhere deep in the mountains long before you got here, and it's moving, always moving, toward the ocean. You can't change that. You can't stop the current. You can't reverse it. That river's course, that's the grand design. That's what's written. It's going to the ocean. Just like you are moving from your first breath to your last through time you cannot stop now. Here you are, placed in this river. You have a choice. You always have a choice. You can just float. You can lie on your back, let the current take you. You'll still end up in the ocean. You'll still fulfill the broad strokes of your destiny, but you'll be passive. You'll bump into rocks. You'll get caught in eddies and spin in circles. You'll be cold and wet and at the mercy of every storm. You'll see the banks of the river as a blur. You'll get to the end and say, well, I guess that was the trip. You existed. You didn't live. Or you can learn to swim. Swimming, that's your wish. That's your effort. That's your choice to engage. When you wish for a better life, you're not asking the river to change its course. You're starting to do the breaststroke. When you wish for knowledge, you're practicing your kick. When you wish for love, you're learning to breathe in rhythm with the water instead of fighting it. The swimmer and the floater are in the exact same river. They have the exact same destiny, the ocean. But their experience, my God, their experience could not be more different. The swimmer feels the water. They understand its flow. They use the current. They work with it. They can move towards the interesting currents, explore the hidden inlets on the riverbank. They can see the sun filtering through the trees. They can feel the cool, deep parts and the warm, shallow parts. When a storm comes, the floater is terrified, tossed around. The swimmer, they've built strength. They've built endurance. They might get tired. They might have to tread water for a while, but they know how to keep their head up. They have agency. The river might be destined for the ocean, but the swimmer gets to experience the joy of the journey. They feel the power in their own muscles. They have a relationship with the water. They are a part of the river, not just a passenger on it. Your wishes are your swimming lessons. Every single one. That wish for more patience, That's you learning how to float, to conserve your energy. That wish for courage. That's you practicing your strokes in the deep end. That big, audacious dream that seems impossible. That's you looking at a distant point downriver and deciding, I'm going to swim all the way to there. The river doesn't care if you swim or float, it flows on. But you care. Or you should. Because destiny is not just about the ending. It's about the quality of the trip. It's about the strength in your arms and the air in your lungs when you arrive. The ocean is the end for all of us. But the question is, do you want to wash up on the shore, waterlogged and limp? Or do you want to swim the last 100 yards, head up, eyes clear, heart pounding with a life fully lived, and walk out of the water on your own 2 feet? The river will carry you. But your wishes are what teach you to navigate it, to master it, to love it, and to truly own every single moment you are in it. So don't just float, decide to swim.